Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get Right with DigiByte. My name's Mike, and it's another fantastic day on the DigiByte blockchain. I'm so excited for today's guests. Joining us are Frederick and Wanen from DigiThree Labs to tell us about their latest product, the EdgeBox. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. How's it going?
Going very well. Weather gets nice here in California, so that's always good.
I'm doing well, Mike. Thank you very much for your introduction.
Well, great. Well, thank you for joining us. And, you guys have been really busy developing this latest product. So, Frederick, let's start with you. Tell us, what is the EdgeBox and what can it do?
Yeah, so before really to go into what it is and what it can do, the interesting thing, or the most interesting thing, or an interesting part is how it is developed. So the founders of the EdgeBox, or the inventors of the EdgeBox, saw a lot of data at the edge a couple of years ago, and of course they were really right, because data at the edge is with AI and with IoT exploding. So how do you deal with data on the edge? Do you want to have all the data back to the central data center? No, that's not an option anymore for lots of use cases. Too much latency, too costly and inefficient. So they thought, okay, let's develop a data center for the edge. But then you cannot develop a big data center because it will not fit the edge, and the edge is so spread out. So you need to have a very small data center that is portable and that can withstand a lot of different weathers or shocks, etc., etc. So they designed the whole EdgeBox as the smallest data center there is, but it's a real data center. That's everything included. So, for example, it has, of course, the motherboard with a lot of V-cores. It has storage. It has remote management. It has UPS. It has cooling. It has all kind of network capabilities, and it's all fitted in this box. So it's more or less as big as your carry-on luggage. Only it's a little bit more heavier. It's 22 kilograms. So you can travel with it, but because it's also weatherized and shock-proof, you can put it in any place, anytime, anywhere. So it's easy to deploy and easy to use, because what you do, you open the box. This is how you open it. You put on the antennas, 5G, and you have also Wi-Fi. We can connect it with any other connectivity, but I think also that's later for the discussion. But so this is the box as is, and it has full data center capabilities, and it has the newest equipment or developments inside of the box. So that's it.
Wow, very nice. And Wanen, let me turn to you now. What are some potential use cases that you see for a tool such as the EdgeBox?
Lots is the simple answer, but I think just to reiterate the point that Frederick made, like, data is being generated everywhere today, and we have so much data around us that we cannot put it back into central data lakes for much longer. I mean, that's just not going to be viable. So we need to be able to deal with the processing. And again, processing is a not defined term at this point in time, but we need to deal with the processing of data where it is being generated or where it is being born and where it lives. And that is at the edge. So this is really a very unique and key solution to deal with data that is being created, generated, and processed at the edge, helping numerous use cases. And the things I can think of, which are, again, standard and straightforward, is like there's energy generation happening in remote areas, right? And energy generation needs to be monitored. So data generation is happening over there, and data needs to be looked at, monitored, and decisions need to be made on that. So that's one case. Then if we look at the whole digital currency space, I mean, the dream is that we have in the digital currency space, like DigiByte, that we have this decentralization happening. But still, for very many and much people, we rely on having parts of those software components that make that digital currency work, blockchain, we rely on putting it into data centers, which are just the easiest way to currently get capacity, get processing power, and do what needs to be done. That is no longer needed with solutions like this. And again, that is not necessarily saying that blockchain should have things like this at the edge and operating it, but today, as we are showing here in the show, it is possible. And it doesn't take much, which we will get back to in later, to actually open up this box, as Frederick did, turn it on, have it connected to the rest of the world, and start having a node of a blockchain operating at a very remote area outside of any of the mainstream Google AWS-based data centers, which is a really good way of not relying on only the technical people that can operate a server at home and that have the ability to do so both in, let's say, housing environments, in networking environments, and maybe the financial needs to do so. This is a way of actually creating it wherever you think, or wherever you are, and wherever the data lives. So for the whole digital currency and blockchain space, this is a very well-versed solution to help that to decentralize beyond the capacity generators that we have today, which are data centers.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so yeah, we established the importance of being decentralized and providing that data accessibility. I'm curious, how does the EdgeBox secure that data? How does it prevent hackers from getting in and accessing that data, without authorization?
So there are two layers. So first of all, you have the box. The box is what I said is movable. By the way, I didn't show you. You can you have wheels and you can do it really as a carry-on luggage. But so it's movable. So movable, you have to protect it because people can more or less steal it. Or if we send a box, because we can send it everywhere in the world, you can place it. You can just put it on power, or even if you don't have power, you can put it on all kind of other electricity generated stuff or things, and you just need some connectivity and then it's working. But of course you want to have your data protected. So inside the box we have a tracking and tracing, and it's and there's a router, so it's always been managed remotely, the whole box, but also so we can also see if it's en route or it's deviating from the route. If it's deviating from the route as before is agreed, then we can give a demand, erase all the data, or we can do it automatically. Besides that, we know when the box is open, so we can tell with all the sensors, we see everything remotely. So that's the hardware component. But of course, the software component is what people put on it. So like maybe Wijnand can say more about that security, about the software component, but that's more or less we deliver, or this box is created just as a real data center. So people can put on top of the data whatever they want to put on.
Okay, very nice. So, yeah, as you mentioned, it can, it's called the Edge Box because it's at the edge of these other data centers, or it's in areas where those data centers aren't accessible. For example, I know that, one of the use cases is for, emergency crews. If there's like a disaster, yes, and existing infrastructure is damaged, cell towers are down, yeah, there's no electricity, you have a tool that emergency crews can take out in the field with them and communicate and also connect with each other. Is that correct?
Yeah, maybe let me explain a little bit more about the EdgeBox. So this is the data center. That was in essence the first product. There we have a data center in a box, including UPS. So it's at least 1.5 hours, and it's with batteries, and you can replace the batteries. So you can so even if you can keep on running endlessly if you have enough batteries. But you can also connect it to solar panels. You can connect it to a car battery, or you can connect it to any other sources of electricity. So that's one. So so indeed you can take the box, put it everywhere, even if there's no electricity available. You can do it with solar, or just run the UPS or the car battery. Another thing we thought, okay, we have the data center in the edge, but we also should collect all the data. How can we collect all the data? What's the best way? You can do it with Wi-Fi. That's very nice. So there is a big With Wi-Fi router, everything is inside. But the new thing is private 5G. So we also have the ability to connect this box to private 5G antennas. And with the private 5G antennas, you can collect all the data in the neighborhood of in a specific area, and we can do it on. We can get a lot of data from far away or from close by, and we constructed it like this that we can both do it for broadcasting. So you have wireless cameras just walking around and just all the footage get into the box. You can edit all the footage and then send it out to any place you want to have it. Or you can use it indeed like for critical infrastructure, where you just want to have cell towers, or you want to have connectivity, or for military, or for search and rescue, where you send out drones and you want to have the footage back and where you can do all the analytics. So that's the way how our box works. And what you can do with it. So it's the first thing is the Edge data center, and on top of that we have the whole we can install private 5G, and by the way also 4G, with all its advantages and use cases.
Wow. Okay. Very nice. And Warren, what are your thoughts? As far as the larger ecosystem, because of course. DigiThree Labs is the enterprise arm of DigiCorp Labs, and they've recently released the DGMV-Edge suite. They also have secure meets. I know there's other products in the pipeline. What is the EdgeBox? How are all these products integrated with each other, and how do they all collaborate with each other?
So thank you for that question. I mean, it's to me very clear that this is a capacity generator that you can have anywhere, and it's a capacity generator for compute, for storage, and for connectivity. I mean, as Frederick really said very clearly. So all of these products that are around authentication, DGMV-Edge, that are around communication, the secure meets, can be run from this single device or from this network device, from this device that exists, and have you continue to operate in case your primary functions no longer exist, for example. So one of the use cases is you've got everything set up in your data center, you've got everything set up in your enterprise relationship with data centers, but for whatever reason, it doesn't provide you with the services you need today. This is a very robust and very secure DR, disaster recovery setup, that you can build with this particular box and the products on top of it. Again, like Frederick explained, it doesn't just run the software. It doesn't just allow you to use the software. It also can connect to existing networks based on the infrastructure that it provides, the 5G locally with devices that you use normally, and it will connect to the rest of the world through other means than what is available to you normally. So that is a very good and fantastic use case for it. If and when you have an enterprise with remote offices that require, let's say, the same services as you used to with data centers in areas where there just is not the connectivity or is not that availability, then you can build this out as well. So it gives you a tool, it gives you a way of building those services that you're used to in relatively centralized locations in areas that are remote, in areas that are not necessarily as well connected as you are in other places. So for that particular matter, it is compatible with all of the software solutions that DigiCorp and DigiThree have. It is very much compatible with all of the real world solutions that we use every day. So it's a fantastic tool to extend our normal everyday services into areas and parts of the world where it just hasn't happened yet with the networks and the telcos and the data centers being there.
And maybe I can explain a little bit, because we talked a little bit more. We talked about the private 5G and the Wi-Fi to get all the data in, but also then you can install all the applications you want to have to do the data, or to do the data crunching, or to do the editing for broadcasting, you name it. It can all be done in the box and then can send to the cloud. But how do you get to the cloud? So that's also where we have this box has different possibilities. So first of all, it can of course be with Ethernet, just a cable. That's the easiest part. But if you don't have Ethernet, you don't have cable, you can do it with 5G. With bidirectional antenna, you go to an antenna that's a couple of miles away, you point it at it, and you can offload. But also, you can just do it with satellite. So we have the satellite connection in here. You only need the antenna. You can just send it by Starlink, for example. So also there, and that's also what Wynand is saying. So remote locations, anytime, any place, anywhere where you want to be, you want to have it. You have the electricity, you have the Starlight connectivity. So more or less, you don't need anything else, and you can ship it because if we go to events, we travel with it. So we have cases we can just travel it as normal. Of course, it's a little bit bigger, but the weights. So you just have to check in like normal normal suitcases. Another thing what I want to explain is this is one box. And then I get to more or less decentralization, where what one of our aims of DigiThree is to decentralize, and you can build. First of all, you can expand the box, so you can build a much bigger cloud. Just hotwire them with 100 gigabit cable, and then 2 boxes become one bigger data center. So 3 boxes get even 3 times 1, and it will act as one data center. You can also then remove one, and it will be within 5 minutes. It will have from 3 to 2, and it will function then again as a 1 times 2 capacity data center. But also you can do it remotely. So you can put a data center in the Netherlands, in the US, in Dubai, and you can let it act like one data center. So it's very flexible. So you can build a decentralized data center all around the world with, of course, where one is the other's backup, etc., etc. And that's all remotely. It's all, at least hardware, it's all done automatically, that it becomes one data center.
Okay, so
virtually
they're all,
or really.
Yeah, so the boxes they're scalable and stackable. You can just add them up and connect them to each other.
And go down, and you just can grow or shrink whenever you want to do. It's very easy, and then you send the box somewhere else where you need it, and can be tracked and traced with all the security I just explained. So it's a very, very flexible way of having a data center, and you can what I already said, you can place where and any place in the world, and you have connectivity, and you can see it, and you can incorporate it into your system or your network.
And let me ask you, what type of operating system is built within the box itself?
So the operating system, we're working with VMware this moment, but we can do whatever a customer wants to do. It's the same. Also, the flexibility. We can say we if you want to have a really high powered machine with a lot of CPUs and or GPUs or many, and you need many cores/V cores, we can build it. Or you need a lot of storage, we have enough slots with storage where you can do SSD spinning this, etc., etc. So it's also scalable and a modular system.
Okay, so you can customize each box to tailor an individual user's needs, whether they want more storage, they want more bandwidth. It's up to their choice.
And another thing, for example, the broadcast for broadcasting, you have to, or for broadcast for anything, you have to 5G antennas. Normally, the 5G antennas you have to power by an external source, but we have the cables and we power the antennas from the box. So you only need to have power in the box. As explained, you can do it with car batteries, generators, etc., solar power, solar cells, etc., etc. So you don't need any other source of electricity to run the whole network. Same like for Starlink.
Very nice. And you mentioned accessing the EdgeBox remotely. Would that be through like an app that someone could download on their smartphone, or through a website?
So yes. So for the whole we run the EdgeBox and also private 5G from an app. There you can do all the configurations. You can see everything. So we have a DSIM. So that's our management system, data center infrastructure management, with a lot of sensors inside, and to check, but also to check the health, what is going on, and also to make adjustments.
Again, thank you for that well explanation, Frederick. And I think with that having said, think about this also for the DigiByte community, right? So in the world that we live in, again, the enterprise use cases being as they are, and we use them, and remote areas are definitely key. But there's also, with the growing concern, I don't know what to call it in appropriate words, but there's many displaced people right now that are either fleeing from or that are just not in the place that they used to be, right? So imagine that you can, with this device, bring capacity, because that's where it starts, right? And again, limited power, limited connectivity, but that's where in the end displaced people will end up. They will end up in a location where there's going to be a Red Cross, or there's going to be these NGO type organizations that need to cater for these people arriving somewhere. And at this location, with this device and with the DigiByte technology and DigiThree and DigiCorp technology that is available, you can literally build out of nothing in a location where there's very little available, something where you can start registering people that arrive, which is really important. You arrive with nothing, right? You arrive with no passport probably because you've left that behind. You arrive with no money because that's what you've left behind, right? Your bank doesn't work anymore. So you arrive in the middle of nowhere where there is limited connectivity, and with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 of these boxes. And again, I'm not the expert here that wants to say this is the number that you need, but you can do some form of authentication. Again, private keys are a very good way of giving a person an identity. And that could be a QR code, it could be something really simple where they can identify themselves with. Secondly, with DigiByte being DigiByte, and the box being able to run blockchain nodes can also manage digital assets. So this identity with paperwork and photos and whatever, you can manage that on the device with a blockchain, tracing people arriving, people when they arrive, where they are moving to, what they have done, and track and trace a lot of things on the ground locally to these people. Having some form of a digital currency being available at that location for, again, a local system of bartering, a local system of actually getting access to things that you need, right? You can have one blanketed person. You can have, I don't know, one super. I mean, I'm making this up as I speak, but tracking and tracing all of those things that are really crucial for these people in those locations is made really easy by having this hardware solution in combination with a software solution that has, again, blockchain technology involved in it. I mean, very doable.
And even you can provide then also 5G network where they can, if they have the phone, where they can connect and do all kind of other stuff. So even you can bring them back into the digital world again, or in the normal world, because it's not the digital world, but people have iPhones. And by the way, also it's for the rescue or the people who are on the ground to do the work. And that's why it's so interesting. So we started with the first thing was really broadcasting, because you can really get all the cables. You can do the broadcasting all remote or remotely more or less, and wirelessly. So you don't need cables. You are very flexible, and it's not only about the cameras, but also about the intercom, etc., etc. But if you then go one step further, another big use case, and that's more or less what Wynand is describing, is the whole search and rescue. And search and rescue is part of what Wynand is, but also disaster recovery, military, where you have to be quick, police. Because it's such a small, so you can put it in back of your car. You can just put it somewhere. It's shockproof. It's weatherized, and just roll out a network, and you have a network, and you can use anytime, any place, anywhere. And with the software DigiThree has, you have a very interesting combination of both hardware indeed and software for all the use cases we described.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really fascinating use case that you both bring up, because, in a lot of these parts of the world where people have been displaced, they're obviously in areas that they're not familiar with. They don't have all their stuff with them, but in most cases, they still have their smartphone with them. Even the most poorest areas of our world. That's one of the things that people look to gain first and foremost is a cell phone, because that gives them access to so many options, whether it's just finding a job locally or just information out on the internet. So once they have that smartphone, they can download the DGMV-ID app. Now they can create a wallet with their own private keys that they own. So they own their identity, and then they can use that app to authenticate themselves and become get involved with the non-government organizations that you mentioned, the Red Cross, other entities that are there with their EdgeBox, and they can help facilitate, help them to get settled into whatever area that they've migrated to.
Yeah. Another thing is, and that's an interesting combination, is like one of the biggest partners is Intel. First of all, for the hardware, so the developing partner, but also for the software. And that's, again, going search and rescue, but also for retail. For search and rescue, they have analytical software. It's not facial recognition, it's recognition where they can see if they have drones flying, those drones take footage, and the software is going to see, okay, there are people, or there's this. It depends what they're looking for. And the software is doing, like facial recognition, is doing the analytics on the box, and just sends out the things. Oh, you have to the search and rescue. You have to be there. You have to go there, etc., etc. Same with retail. We were working on a use case with Intel. It's like theft in the shop. So you can do, the analytical software is running on the box. You have the camera where you can just do that gets the footage to the box, and the box sends, based on analytics, sends the signal to the security to act.
Wow, very neat. And you mentioned you use Intel hardware and software. So I'm curious, like, where is the box itself actually built and assembled?
So it's built and assembled in Greece.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
So,
how long does it take to build a box? For example, like, let's say if I contact DigiThree Labs, I'm like, hey, I need an edge box with these specs. Like, how much lead time does it typically take?
Of course, it depends a little bit on the specs, but it should be within 3 to 4 weeks. Should be up and running.
Let me ask you a little more about you talked about the inputs and outputs of the box itself. So what comes with the box as far as like antennas and cabling, and can someone go out and get third-party accessories and easily attach them to the box?
We have all kind of ways to connect. So, but the antennas should be antennas that are tested with the software, and we're using Druid software. If we go to 5G, private 5G, so there are the antennas we recommend. The rest, we have so many. If there is a request for a certain type of connectivity, we can build it in if that's the case. But I think we have Wi-Fi with Ethernet, we've Lemon cable. We more or less, I think 90% that it's for people that what we see in the market. 90% of the standard use case we can cover with this box already. So and if there is an outlier, then we can talk about it.
Okay, very interesting. All right, well, gentlemen, this has been a fascinating conversation. I'm really excited about this technology and what it can do. I was kind of blown away when I first saw it, because I was like, wow, this is a legit physical box, and it looks so rugged and tough, and like it can just go anywhere. And so I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future. Is there any topics that you'd like to discuss that we haven't covered yet before we wrap things up?
I will. So no, it's maybe we have flight cases where so this will be because you want to have it in a flight case, so you put it around it so you can fly. Let us do a demo. Let us show. So if people are interested, we can do demos. We can do that in the US. We can do it in Europe. We can do it anywhere. So if people are interested, let us know.
Okay. Well, for those who do have more questions, or they would like a demo, or just want to just go ahead and purchase the box, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Go to the DigiThree. Go to the DigiThree website, and there's a new website launched. It's great. Meet sales. Just go to the sales and just request or more information, or immediately request a conversation.
Okay, great. Well, we've got the website up here, DigiThreeLabs.com. We'll also put a link down below, so anyone watching this video on YouTube or anywhere can just click on it and go straight to the website.
Yeah. And one thing, so just to show how easy it is to carry. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can just carry it around.
You have here, and you have here. Here you have the wheels.
That's fantastic.
Maybe.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I mean to have that kind of technology just in your hands and that mobile, where you can just take it anywhere, and if it's raining or it's cold, it's fine because it's all enclosed in a case, and you can get the job done.
Yeah,
and
maybe,
I really
maybe
like
to add some. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No worries. I really like to add the fact that I think for the whole also the DigiByte community, right? Think of it as being able to take your blockchain to remote areas and actually start contributing towards that blockchain from those areas. I mean, that is a fascinating thought where to date, these things have lived in massive data centers and in massive, again, homes with people that know what they're doing. This allows you to take it to the edge, to take it to parts of the world where people have not maybe yet had ready access to it. And again, think to the fact that the apps and the wallets on your phone will be able to connect 5G to this, and then you will have your own local node, your own local blockchain node that might serve your community, might serve your anything, right? Wherever you are, you can now take it to that edge as well, which to me is a really exciting use case. And I can think of and talk around use cases with software where we start doing asset management and smart layers and what have you. I mean, there's so much that we can unfold, but that's, again, Mike, maybe something for a next episode where we specifically go into that. But I'm really excited about this, and I've been waiting long for seeing something like this.
And again, I think indeed, like what Wynand is saying, the combination of having this data center with all the capabilities of the software DigiThree has, it's a great combination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you guys say, you can take this box anywhere in the world. You can run your own DigiByte node from this box. You can verify your own transactions on the DigiByte blockchain. You can use DGMV-ID, which is built off of DigiID, to verify authenticity. So there's just so many use cases around a tool like this. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. And congratulations, guys. I know a product like this simply doesn't build itself and happen overnight. There's no doubt a lot of thought, a lot of work went on to get this thing created. So props to you and to the entire DigiThree Labs team for putting it together. And thank you both so much for your time today. This has been a fantastic conversation. I look forward to hopefully come back in the future, and you can tell us about the latest developments with the EdgeBox and with the DigiThree Labs. So thanks again, and you guys have a great day.
Thank you for your time. It's great being here. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Bye.
Thank you, Frederick. Bye-bye.